I miss him. Everywhere I look, I see her.
Hey everyone, this is Curb and I bring you another standard match. Today we have a rematch between myself and Tim. Tim was a little upset that he lost in tourney, so he wanted to try and have another go at a game. So let's see how it turns out for him. So it looks like we have Tim using the skill of the habitable zone first once again and then searching. Because apparently he wants to be able to draw into habitable zone again, which, sure, you can do bad plays all you want. But we do see a typical start from Ava, just playing out that grade 1 order, as I'm going to be writing up. Thankfully, I do actually have my cycle card as well, able to use it and just draw another card, essentially writing for free. To be honest, after playing 2 tourneys with Wilista using the Valshabrand, kind of just like fixing up the build, it's starting to feel a little bit better, but still, it does definitely, obviously, it doesn't feel as powerful as it was before the hit. I still have to tinker around with it. I'm half considering not taking it to BCS anymore, but who knows? Who knows what I'm gonna do? I honestly don't even know at this point, but I guess getting back into the match, riding into the grade 2, discarding, I believe that was a Combine Rusher there, to search out the grade 1 order yet again, and then obviously we're just going to be playing it. Typical turn to Ava. We do have the option of calling out that Combine Rusher to get a little aggression in the early game, but looks like we are going to opt to not do that, so I'm just going to go ahead and no pass or OT to pass this, which turns out to be a really good play because we see a critical trigger flipped over on that drive check. So since I continue to be a good player, I still have the Valshabran in hand, another copy, and of course I'm going to do the correct play, which is to search out before you use your cycle card so that you can deck thin. But yeah, obviously I'm going to just get that crossed Illumirays or crossing, I don't remember, it doesn't really matter. And then, of course, using the cycle card gives me that extra soul to soul blast it out. Once again, doing my classic get rid of Ophelia early play because she does nothing. Although, who knows how good that is, considering a lot of things. And then, of course, once again, you see me being an awesome player and getting double Ramona. I think I had one in hand and then I just drew another one. Swinging at the Vanguard, of course with the Vanguard first, hit into a defensive trigger, but since we have double Ramona, it doesn't even matter because both of these attacks still hit. Going to be taking the first one, which is, of course, the correct play. If we got another defensive there, we could have saved on a 15k shield, but we didn't, so we are going to have to commit that second 15k shield. Discarding, was that another Combine Rusher? And then Tim not having the third order in hand, you know, probably because he used a cycle card before he searched, but playing out that third order there to call out the Combine Rusher, which we could have done before Ava, and, you know, check top 3, but, you know, I guess it's fine, right? I'm going to be swinging that Combine Rusher. I'm not at grade 3, so it is only going to be at 10k. This Obfuscate is at the 23, though, because he does have those 3 orders in the order zone. Just going to be intercepting with one of my Ramonas. I do kind of fear the grade 2 Obfuscate, because it can totally just clear my board here. But Tim, instead, is going to be going for the grade 3 Obfuscate, which I guess is perfectly fine because, you know, whatever, I only have one other rear guard. I intercepted with the other one, so it doesn't actually do that much. I mean, I guess it gets rid of the second Ramona, but chances are I might even just intercept with it here sometime in this turn if I have efficient guards, although both these Obfuscates are just 15k guards, so I probably wouldn't end up doing that. But I do actually need some damage for my next turn, believe it or not. So I'm probably going to be no guarding here. Drive checking into a PG and the blue research lab order. Swinging the double crit Obfuscate, obviously going to be blocking that. And then the one crit Obfuscate is going to be swinging. Kind of debating whether I want to be at 2. And I think that saving the 15k shield is definitely going to be worth just taking that extra little bit of damage. It makes it easier for me in the next coming turns because I don't have to worry about crits. I can easily just take damage and I don't have to worry about multiple crit swings. Anyways, once again, having the what color is your wish there, the cycle card, for basically all 3 write-ups. So clearly I am the superior player But using Wilista's skill here, checking the top 5 and getting a actually very terrible top 5 there, full of triggers, PGs, and just stuff I really do not want on board. I'm doing a very classic Tim here. Gotta check the hand, gotta check the top 5. I think I should probably check the drop zone if I wanted to get the full trifecta, but unfortunately I just can't do the Tim special, and I can only check my hand in top 5. But unfortunately, my best 2 calls are going to be this Resius as well as a copy of Persona Ride, which would be much better if I actually had a Yuika. But of course, I might be a really good player, and I can top deck a whole bunch of really good stuff, but I cannot top deck a Yuika. So unfortunately, that Persona Ride is probably just going to have to stay there for the time being. I'm going to put it behind the Ramona so that I can intercept with the Ramona, and I don't have to bother overcalling it, because I do have this Ophelia that I plan on using this turn. Another copy of Resius in my hand, just going to be slapping it down to make the Ophelia hit that much harder. So we do just have 4 attacks here with the 20k Ramona, unfortunately not being able to hit over defensive. Kind of debating whether it's worth to boost. Resius, another reason why I don't really like this card is she's just that 3k body, which makes absolutely 0 difference when it comes to making numbers. So this first one's going to be blocked, swing it into the Vanguard for a 36. Very strong attack. Me drive checking to Ramona and a PG. PG is very well appreciated. Unfortunately, we do hit into a heal trigger there, so going to be healing back down to 3 using the Ophelia's skill to restand it. Now in this instance, the Ramona is not going to be able to hit, so probably she's going to be going after one of the Obfuscades, and then of course, actually my bad, Ramona does actually hit because we gave her power from Recess. So I think I make a misplay here, where I think I tell Tim that this is a 31k attack instead of a 41, which we clearly saw there because of the extra 15k and the extra 10k from Resius. But that's totally on me. Ramona's going to be swinging for 30, which is going to be another 10k guard, but looks like Tim is just going to be taking that, hitting into a defensive. So pushed to 4. Definitely makes sense. You do want that 2 CV, even though you do technically have those set orders that will allow you to countercharge. So we actually see Tim going into the Pip Ava here instead of just calling it to the rear guard, and going to be using its skill. On place, you get to search out a research order, and then you you activate Persona Ride. I'm thinking of the next skill, which we'll talk about once it actually comes up. So just activating that Persona Ride, giving the 10k the front row, and then of course drawing the card. Probably going to be shotgunning that blue research lab here, checking the top 5, and calling of course 1 unit. Looks like, is that a refurbishment dog? 2 triggers and a Pip Ava. Very cool. I guess Tim's specialty is just calling the Pip Ava off of the blue research lab, because this is now the 2nd time that he has done that in 2 games. But gonna kind of try to just decide how we want to create our board. Gonna be calling out the Combine Rusher to the attacker, which is definitely very good, especially when you're under Pip Ava, because you don't have to commit another counterblast in order to actually, call out your Obfuscade. Calling out a copy of Mine there, and then kind of deciding that we want to swap it around, just putting the Pip Ava behind the Obfuscade just in case we need it, and then making that not I almost said Bulble Mine. I'm trying to combine Bulble Mine and Combine Rusher. Bulble Mine Rusher column, I don't know. It has like a 38k swing there, which is a definite very good number. I think that's perfectly a very good number to swing with, although a 30 is also decently good. Gonna be choosing to actually not boost with a Bulble Mine here. I think it would have been perfectly fine, but it makes sense. You want the next swing, the Obfuscate, whichever one comes out, to be strong enough. Gonna be intercepting with the Ramona and a 15k guard. Thanks to the fact that he did not boost with a Bulble Mine, I was able to do that and kind of just like defend myself against that grade 2 Obfuscate. So even if he does decide to call it out here, I am just losing the Ophelia, which definitely sucks. But there are worse things to happen in the world. But it looks like we're not actually going to be calling the Obfuscate from deck, so we're just going to use the Ava skill to just shuffle, and then calling out a grade 3 Obfuscate from drop. And then of course with Pip Ava, each of them do get an extra 5k, so making very nice magic numbers. So once again, just taking the Vanguard swing. Effectively right now I'm just taking all the 1 damage swings that are not Combine Rusher, This Obfuscate is going to be swinging for 46, which I am just going to be PGing. And this other Obfuscate did get a 5k from the Blue Research Lab, so it is that 38, a very good magic number. Me taking that, unfortunately, I have just one too few damage in order to actually heal. Oh, and I'm just noticing there that Tim totally forgot to bind his Ava for the skill of Pip Ava. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, I am going to be Persona Riding. Almost forgetting to use the on-play skill to get back a gem because I was not able to get another gem from my draws, which is something that usually happens to me. And then, of course, using the Wilista skill, getting a little bit better of a top deck. We finally see the Yuika there, so I will be able to actually bounce back that Persona Ride for next turn. And then, of course, the Valshabran. I am under Persona Ride, so I'm probably going to be using that skill. So we've got 2 columns that are 28 each on the first swing, and then of course they are going to be re-swinging. Once again, unfortunately, the Resist is still there on board, so she is not going to be really contributing very much to that Ophelia swing. Of course, using the Valshabran skill there, moving up the Persona Ride so that I can bounce it with the Yuika. Hopefully I will be able to close things out next turn. This turn is basically just put a huge dent into Tim's hand and then maybe deal 1 damage so that next turn I can definitely close things out. But we'll see how that ends up turning out for me, because Ava did definitely was able to kind of helmet up there. Got a ton of cards in hand. The double Obfuscate intercepts, more than enough defense to honestly perfectly live this turn. But of course, that first Wilista swing for a 28, gonna be calling down a 2-card guard there, which is why I do like the Valshabran that much. Kind of just swing with the other one, another 2-card guard. I believe that was like a double Obfuscate. Swinging the Wilista using the skill acquired from the gem in order to restand the rear guard. This attack is going to be PG'd into a front trigger, which is very nice. And then drive checking the Lumerays, which is not as nice because I kind of am hurting for shield value at this moment. I think I only have like 1 PG or something. But we still do have 2 more attacks. Tim only has 3 more cards in hand, but we still do have those double intercepts, and the only way I can actually close things out is if both of these attacks meet their mark, which most likely they will not. And I do also have to account for the fact that there is a possible defensive on this 5th damage. So this kind of, I guess we made a little bit of a mistake because technically the affiliate is stronger and we want to swing with the weaker swing first. So this one is going to be a 46 at the Vanguard. Not hitting into a defensive, but we do have the OT in hand to stave off this 56k swing from Ophelia, so we are totally going to be able to survive that. Bouncing the Persona right to my hand. This looks like it's going to be Tim's final turn. If he is not able to close things out here, dealing that last 2 damage, then chances are he's going to probably lose on the crackback because I do have Persona Ride. Unfortunately, I will only have 1 CB, but I'm probably just going to commit that to restand the other rear guard and then let Ophelia get super swole for the 4th attack. So we do have another Pip Ava using the Blue Research Lab. Let's see if we can call a 3rd Pip Ava off the top, but no, unfortunately. Looks like we're just going to be boring and get Habitable Zone from the deck. Probably going to be using its skill, as we see here, to get the Refurbishment Dock. Playing the Refurbishment Dock, and of course it's going to let us draw a card. So we have the guaranteed 4 attacks here. We even have 2 extra CB to play around with if we want to, you know, maybe call it a Combine Rusher, which looks like we are actually going to be doing, which definitely makes a lot of sense. Combine Rusher is going to be a 30k attacker, which is technically bigger than even those Obfuscades, who are only at 23 apiece. Actually, is it? No, I think the Obfuscates are actually better attackers. The reason we did that, which is something I totally just missed, is that we have the Refurbishment Dock, so calling it not to be an attacker, but actually a 10k booster, which is a lot more than we can say for that Pip Ava that was on board, because for whatever reason, Refurbishment Dock only gives boost to grade 2 units and not grade 3 units. Anyways, using the Blue Research Lab skill to give an extra 5k to the rightmost Obfuscate using the skill of the grade 1 order in order to add another Obfuscate to hand. Looks like we're waiting for that grade 2. Interesting. It doesn't really matter. Probably just adding it for shield value. But this Obfuscate first swing gonna be at 38. 1 damage. Unfortunately, I don't hit into a defensive, so that's going to make things a little bit more difficult for me as I take this next swing at 38 with the 10k boost, the extra 5k from her skill, and then giving another 5 to the Obfuscate is going to make it that much more difficult to guard. So going to be guarding for 33 here. I would need another 15 to make it 1 pass. Another 5k is going to make it 2 to pass. Checking the top 2 cards is going to be a PG, and then I think that was another Blue Research Lab. But this next swing is going to be very big. 46 once again, I believe. I do have to guard this one because it is a 2 crit attack, but unfortunately I just do not have enough to guard that final attack. So Tim's going to get his victory. I hope he's happy with it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to do all those YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.